Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. My friend, His Excellency Chaudhry Fawad Hussain Sahab, Minister for Science and Technology, Dr. S.M. Junaid Zaidi, Executive Director of COMSATS, diplomats, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. It is indeed my pleasure to address this august gathering on the occasion of the Silver Jubilee celebration of the Commission on Science and Technology for Sustainable Development in the South. And I am delighted that the Ministry of Science and Technology is hosting this event, this remarkable event, and many congratulations to COMSATS itself and to all member countries of COMSATS. It is the Honorable Minister has spoken about the issues and his vision about improving COMSATS and cooperation between other countries. But for me, when I come here, I believe that there are numerous challenges which Pakistan and therefore the South faces. South was a term which is probably in the background today, but South was a term where the North was the developed countries and the South were the countries which were dreaming to become a developed country. Or the Third World also was a synonymous term which was used. The situation is worse off than ever before. For example, as this was envisioned in 1992, the situation today is worse. Why? Because I believe the footprint of man, the problems with the destruction of the environment and the issues which have become more understandable in the last 20 or 30 years gives us an alarming picture of the world as it is. That is where we need some help, and we need some help from human minds. We need some help, for example, if a ship is going in one direction, to be able to understand that this direction is going to hit an obstacle and it may sink, we need to change direction. This changing of direction needs human resource. But why would we need to change direction? There is ample evidence, for example, regarding the biodegradation. There is ample evidence, for example, and that has come from the scientific research which has been done. There is ample evidence, for example, the disproportionate destruction of the insect population of the world, which was the basic structure of human life. The bee population, the worm population, and there are reports in scientific magazines that about 30 to 40% of insect population has reduced. That is a huge impact. There is a carbon load which is very destructive as far as we are concerned. In fact, there was a report published yesterday, looking at the oxygen level of the oceans and the fact that there is oxygen depletion in the oceans and how would that affect the environment. And that's a very serious issue. And Pakistan, furthermore, is faced by other issues. For example, I submitted a report when I was a member of chairing the committee on fisheries and depletion of fish stocks, that Pakistan has lost fish stocks to the extent of about 70 or 75%, which may not be recoverable. So there's an environmental damage which we have with overproduction, with over exploitation of our reserves and resources. We've done that. And the third industrial revolution was a time when there was ample. And because it was ample, the factories produced and we used our raw materials with abandon, that there is no limit to it. And then we developed a culture, the world developed a culture of purchasing, of consumerism. Why? This was the most beautiful thing to do, to purchase something, and then whatever were your wants became your needs, and therefore there is a huge impact. There are studies which have been done that the people who purchase, for example, in Northern Europe and the US, whatever they purchase is wasted within the first 6 months. 50% of what they've purchased gets wasted or unutilized in the next after 5 or 6 months. So we have to think to refrain from all that. We have to change direction. Maybe the source of happiness is not production. The source of happiness is not consumerism. The source of happiness is not buying and discarding. The source of happiness, we'll have to go back and re-understand that. There is a huge amount of waste which we produce. Of course, carbon dioxide is a waste, but other than that, there's a huge amount of waste. We don't know how to handle waste. There were countries in the world where waste could have been sent and they would help recycle it. China has stopped even importing waste, and I was reading an article that other countries have started illegally handling waste of other countries. So there's a lot of waste which we have to handle. So we have to reduce our imprint both in production of stuff, using of stuff, and then reducing our footprint as far as waste is concerned. The other issues in the financial sector are also there. There's a huge divide between the rich and the poor. And with the fourth industrial revolution, people are telling us, and there are books being written, that this divide between the rich and the poor is going to increase. So how do we handle that? There are philosophers and scientists who believe that man is seriously threatened, not only by the fact that this race has been destroying its own habitat, but by the fact that with artificial intelligence, the rate at which our chemical intelligence and the DNA changed, the artificial intelligence changes at a much faster rate. So we have issues of water. I recently addressed a conference on water. We have issues of water, we have issues of food, we have issues of population. And we have issues of development, we have issues of knowledge. And where then we would like to analyze these issues and we develop the manpower to be able to handle those issues, so that is a serious crisis. This is where universities and educations come to our help. This is where we need to do our research. This is where we need to develop our human resource. We need the people to change direction. We need the people to fulfill the sustainable development goals. We in Pakistan, while the world is looking at so many bigger issues, we are worried about our own population, the health and the education of our own population, the nutrition of our own population. The fact that there is a population boom which is still going on in Pakistan, we need to be able to address that. We need to address the human rights, which are, when there is poverty, there is an impact of the fact that the human rights may be encroached upon. So in all this, the deficiencies which I talked about, the fact that capitalism and production has taken us in a different direction, with all that, we believe Pakistan and the countries in the south, it is far easier for us if we are able to generate the human resource, to be able to jump on the bandwagon of the changing scenario of the fourth industrial revolution, our ability to counter the effects of what the world has self-created and what the world is going through, where greed has supplanted all values, greed of acquiring, of creating wealth, which is therefore in its creation is bad for the environment. We can't sustain that situation, we have to handle that. I believe in health and education, we need the human resource. In education, where the knowledge was supposed to be free, is still a lot of knowledge is available, and our institutions like COMSATS, which I must congratulate the Ministry of Science and Technology for the fact that it is one of the most important and creditable institutions in Pakistan, and to be able to then replicate that in the third world, in the member countries who are participants of the COMSATS. I would encourage other countries to become participants, and together we can develop a world where we are able to handle whatever stresses are coming across. Just talking about it, just wringing our hands about it, just doing things in piecemeal, every time this government, this presidency, this minister, my honorable friend, when we start looking at an issue, we are faced by the lack of human resource. And that human resource, we need the research, we need plans to be able to look at these things, and that human resource can only come through a knowledge economy based knowledge-based economy, and an education which keeps pace with what is happening in the rest of the world. Not only that, an education system which is aware of the needs of this country. So therefore, that match between what is available and what we need can only be fulfilled not by the bureaucracy. It can't be fulfilled by any other institution but the institution of education. So therefore, we have a particular stress on the Higher Education Commission, for example. We are also worried about the fact that we have to increase the level of education in the schools or the out-of-school children. That's a separate phenomenon. But this gathering today is talking about higher education, and we need to be able to prepare this country for the world of tomorrow. Countries which make progress look at the future. The countries which make progress look at the direction, and then when they decide that direction needs to be changed, they are able to change that direction in a manner which increases development, which decreases the footprint, the bad footprint of mankind on this earth, which puts emphasis on the available resources and the efficient use of available resources, whether it is water or whether it is food. So I must, while I congratulate the ministry, I believe the greater cooperation among countries is essential. Greater cooperation and education is essential. Greater cooperation as far as scholarship is concerned, to be able to produce our researchers, to send out our people for PhDs abroad, or to be able to make an environment where we are able to train our own people, PhDs within Pakistan, because it is definitely expensive to send people for training to countries outside of Pakistan. It is a national emergency as far as the human resource is concerned. We have picked up some areas like artificial intelligence and blockchain technology and virtual reality and augmented reality, etc., and digital payments. We have picked up some areas, but it needs to be in a shotgun approach where we are tackling every issue, and the only way we can do that is improving our universities, is improving the role of the science and technology, and of course, to help fulfill the vision which this ministry has produced in this regard. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.